Principal of the Royal Northern College of Music, Professor Linda Merrick, will now pay a tribute, her own personal tribute, to Sally's life and achievements. Professor.
So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a real privilege to have been asked to say a few words at this special concert celebrating Sally's life and work. I consider myself to be very fortunate to have worked with Sally for over 25 years. She was an extraordinary musician and somebody who was hugely respected and much loved by everyone who knew her. As a pianist, Sally could tackle any music put in front of her, however challenging it might appear. Going above and beyond what was expected of her and what others may have thought possible was the norm for Sally. Irrespective of the time and effort entailed, she would always dedicate herself to putting the interests of the composer first, striving to deliver what was on the page in the most compelling way possible. She would also always give positive and constructive feedback to composers, assuming the role of a critical friend to help them on their musical journeys. She was a wonderful solo pianist, but also a sensitive and supportive chamber musician. I think one of the things that Sally loved best was collaborating with other performers, instrumentalists and singers, and she would always enable them to give of their best on the platform, never seeking the limelight for herself. When I first joined Sounds Positive, I hadn't played much contemporary music, and Sally was a wonderful mentor, an inspiring role model who was generous in sharing her wisdom and experience, endlessly patient, and helpful in helping me to develop the skills and the confidence I needed. I will always be extremely grateful to Sally for instilling in me a passion for commissioning, performing and recording new music that shaped my musical career to date. As a person, Sally was fun to be with. She was a great character with a razor-sharp intellect and a unique, quirky sense of humour that everybody who knew her loved. She was unbelievably hard-working, and she was fearless, both musically and personally. Those of us who worked closely with Sally over all those years will remember not only her consummate skills as a musician, but also many lighter-hearted moments. Sally grappling with huge, unwieldy scores while peering over the top of her glasses, trying to follow the conductor. And for Sally, the piano was never in the right place. Sally never quite conforming to the ensemble's agreed dress code. I think it's fair to say she had a rather bizarre sense of colour that didn't quite match that of her fellow musicians. Sally always having a store of dark chocolate squirreled away to help her get through those really tricky moments in the pieces. And as the flute player you're hearing tonight reminded me earlier on today, Sally also had secreted about her person a hairbrush so that she could tidy up Simon before he came onto the platform to perform. Sally's legacy as an artist lives on through the extensive catalogue of music she commissioned and recorded, and the memories of so many of the musicians that she influenced during her long and distinguished career. I know she will be so pleased to see everyone here this evening celebrating her life and work through music, and to know that this concert is being recorded so it can be shared with her many friends and colleagues in Australia. What better way to pay tribute to a very special person who touched the lives of so many others in so many ways. Thank you.
Sally was a member of several contemporary music ensembles, the Mouth of Hermes, the Alexandra Ensemble, and since 1989, Sounds Positive, a combination of woodwind, brass and piano conducted by David Sutton Anderson. Dave has arranged for the group this Sonata by Domenico Scarlatti, another of Sally's favourite composers. So, Sounds Positive. But other composers knew and worked with her all their lives. Gordon Carr was a horn player who gave recitals with Sally, which was how their long musical association began. And Gordon has written this tribute to her called Thank You, which will now be played by the trio Lavolta, the ensemble of which Sally was a founder member, and for whom I've worked alongside them as well, so we know each other of old. The trio Lavolta played together for 22 years. 22 years. So let me introduce Joyce Fraser, the violin. Carrying his rather unwieldy instrument will be, next time he's going to take up the triangle. Felix Bruza on cello, and replacing Sally, Peter O'Hagan. This is the first public performance of Gordon Carr's Thank You. and commissioned new music. More than 100 works were written for her by over 50 British and Australian composers. And we want this part of her work to continue. We're establishing a fund in her name to commission and arrange for the performances of new piano works from British and Australian composers. And if you feel able to, you'll be invited to contribute at the end of the concert. So don't rush out at the end. Obviously we can't represent all the composers with whom Sally worked, but we are going to hear 2 works from composers who were founder members of Sounds Positive, Avril Anderson and Edwin Roxburgh. So, Sounds Positive in Avril's virtually 100% recycled. Sally was awarded the Australia Medal in the New Year's Honours Lists for her services to the arts as a solo pianist, a composer, and a teacher. And they went to Buckingham Palace to receive it from Princess Anne. It was a life and a time to celebrate. We now hear Trio Lavolta with Joseph Haydn and his Gypsy Rondo. Finally, sounds positive to round off our evening. We'll play David Sutton Anderson's adaptation of the Peacemaker Blues. And thanks all for coming.